Welcome back to the Tiga Tactics podcast, show about self-defense for civilians by civilians. We discuss all things personal protection, including martial arts, combat sports, and street combatives. Our resident MANs, martial arts nerd, include co-founder of Tiga Tactics and holder of black belts in 9 different styles, Dr. Conrad Bui.
Hello, everybody.
Patrick is missing again. Boo! We are booing him. Send him hate text messages over Facebook, and let him know we need him back on the podcast. But we have a substitute. We have Guru Sensei Sobel. I get confused. I get confused with the order.
Aikido.
And I am your other co-host, Target Army Special Force Soldier and Champion Obstacle Course Racing Athlete, Evan Ultra-OCR Perperis. Messed up my own name. We are here recording in between day 1 and day 2 of our Tiga Tactics Toolset Training Tour in New Hampshire. We had a packed weekend. It's been nonstop. This has been so insane. Yeah. It's been real quick before we get into today's episode and the sponsors and the topic. Conrad, tell us about what you've done since your plane landed.
Oh my goodness, we went to that non-lethal gun store,
the Berna gun store in Nashua, near Nashua.
And that's a pretty sweet place. I never knew something like that existed. I knew Berna existed, and I remember you talking about it. And I've personally never seen one. I might have seen it on ads. And then you took me there, and it's a whole store. They've got different models of this that uses CO2 cartridges to fire what they call a non-lethal projectile. And then there's a little range there. And if you have a Berna tool, or I can't call it
projectile launcher.
You can go there and shoot. Yeah,
for free.
For free. Yeah,
you bring your own CO2, you bring your own ammo, and they just let you plink on their metal wall.
That's pretty cool.
That is kind of cool.
It is cool. So we went there, and then afterwards we met up with your buddy Abe. What's his school name again?
Freedom Falls Academy. I went to a USCCA class at his place like a week before. His last duty station was Fort Riley. My last duty station was Fort Riley.
Cool.
I'm like, did we just become best friends? Yep. And then I was like, hey, can we come to your place Friday and use your trainer? So we went there and we shot essentially zombies for 2 hours and plates and stuff like that on his simulator. So they're like SIRT pistols with kind of like a giant video game. It's like a wall. Yeah. And we got some good trigger time in.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. And if you have any questions about Evan's ability with the firearm, it is
quite impressive.
Freaking good.
Quite impressive.
Freaking good, man. So that was a lot of fun.
Quick humble brag here. There was a zombie like scenario in there with like live actors, and you needed headshots. And he was like, "I've never seen anyone get through the scenario." And me and Conrad, 2-player teamed it and blew through it.
Yeah, there was a section there where he's like, "I've never seen it go this far before."
Yeah,
and we finished the whole thing.
I was really proud of that. And now I felt like the pressure and like my hands were sweaty and I was like, my arms are getting tired.
Oh yeah. And to be transparent, Evan did 80% of the work, because when we did the after action report and you could see who shot what where, it was all Evan. Evan's so quick there. There were times I was thinking, is that a civilian? And then pop, whatever this figure just dropped to the ground, civilian exploded or not. And so, really fun, really good job, Evan, there.
And then we went to Sensei Joe's in Conway, New Hampshire.
Right.
And we proceeded to film martial arts content.
Yes.
All afternoon.
Yeah, and Evan proceeded to do, 9 rounds?
9 rounds. 3-minute rounds.
9 3-minute rounds of either sparring or pad work. It was pretty intense. And the location was hot, humid. We were sweating bullets. I mean, it was like in a sauna while we were training. So it was a lot of fun.
And then all-day seminar today, teaching. And then after the seminar, we filmed more content, dinner, and then came back to the house. And we worked on some tactical movement through the house with pretend rifles, me, Conrad, and Scott.
Yeah, and here we are.
And then we're recording. So if you're wondering if it's relaxing when we go on these trips, it's kind of not, but it's also like I have fun.
It's like a bunch of kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rare to find groups of people where it's like, hey, you want to just like train all day, all the time? You know, like
Some more after dinner.
after dinner we can squeeze in some more training before we fall
Yes,
asleep.
of
And
course.
people are like, yes. So it's been great. Come train with us. Our next one is in San Francisco, mid-July, and then we got Dragon Fest August 1st, and then LA in October. All right, let's quick shout out to Vulpes. Great training products. I'm going to drop the link down below. Let's jump into today's episode. We have Scott here. So we are talking about Aikido.
Aikido.
So tell me, for our listeners who don't know, what is Aikido? Where would they know it from? Kind of go from there.
So Aikido is a traditional Japanese martial art. I'd say it's one of the last of the traditional disciplines. It was founded and it started sort of late 50s and really became established more in the 60s. It was an offshoot of Jiu-Jitsu. The founder of the art originally studied in Daitoru Aiki Jiu-Jitsu, and during World War II was kind of disenchanted with the way that the martial mindset was taking people, and he combined his spiritual Shintoism with martial arts and was trying to find a way to teach spiritualism through martial arts, which I thought was a very interesting approach to, instead of teaching it through music or art or any of these other mediums, he was going to teach world peace and through martial arts. I got into it like a lot of people did in the mid to late 80s from Steven Seagal movies.
There we go.
It was,
That's what I'm waiting for.
Yes,
I'm waiting for
was
Under Siege references.
I had, it was Above the Law. It was straight above the law. It was the...
And that was a good movie for his
movie.
first movie. I was surprised. I mean, when I watched it, I was like, I knew about Aikido, but I was like, who is this guy? He can actually act pretty well for his first.
It was an interesting storyline, and it was, and it was different than what we'd seen. Everyone else, the standard in the movie was a jump spin kick to the head, and that was the high tech movie martial art. And here's this guy doing this weird stuff, and people are flying around, and
cool.
it was, and I was working out at a Taekwondo school, and there was another Taekwondo school. Some of the students would cross train. They'd come over, and we'd get together and spar. And we were talking about Aikido, and they said, "Oh, our instructor's been doing Aikido." And I went over and started training, and was immediately impressed with it, and been doing it ever since.
So how long have you been doing Aikido first? And then I have a follow-up question.
I started in 88.
Okay.
So what's that, 38 years?
A long time.
That's, yeah.
I'm not asking how Steven Seagal is as a fighter. I'm asking how his Aikido is.
He has decent Aikido. His Aikido, I have not worked out with him, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I have trained with people who have trained with him, and he's a legitimate martial artist.
When you watch Under Siege, Above the Law, can you like identify, be like, oh, that's this move, that's this move? Like, if I learn Aikido,
yes.
will I be able to understand what's happening better?
Yeah, in the first couple movies, later he started drifting away from pure Aikido and adding more movie-friendly martial arts stuff. It got away from it. But the stuff that he does in Above the Law, very classic Aikido.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Even a novice like me, very clear kodegaeshi,
Riminage,
sankyo, riminage, shihonage.
Yeah.
He used all those, broke the wrist,
Yeah.
flipped the dude over. Yeah, solid Aikido.
Yeah.
Didn't he train in Japan?
From the stories I've heard, yes, he was married to a woman in Japan whose father was a high-ranked sensei, and was running a school in Japan, and was an instructor and ran a dojo over there.
Yeah, I heard he's the first Westerner to run a
so,
Japanese
Japan,
martial arts school in Japan.
Right.
Aikido or anything else.
Right. That's how the story goes. Moved to California, had a student who was a movie producer who went, well, this would look cool in film, and kind of pulled him in, and that was the start of it. But most people hadn't heard of Aikido, and, or if they hadn't heard anything good about Aikido. So I think he was somebody who made it palatable, at least in the martial arts community.
So, obviously, Jiu-Jitsu is known for grappling, Taekwondo is known for kicks. What's Aikido known for?
Um, it's known for a couple things. So that I would say the most common thing people associate it is the wrist locks. Um, it's the also the spirituality of it and the non-aggressive blending and harmonizing with your attacker. Those are the big things that people I think associate with it or should.
And I think once you study Aikido or research it a little more, you guys have the best looking break falls, the best ukemi.
They are very
Yeah,
nice.
I mean, I've seen
I,
people like just almost float in
when
the air when they fall.
when I've gone to Japan several times, and just when you see some of the ukemi, so ukemi means receiving body art is the literal translation. So it's not like guy getting thrown. The American translation is body receiving art. So it's its own art form of how to drift to the mat. And when you watch the guys in Japan, it's like skipping a stone across the water. They hit the mat, they don't make a sound, and they're back up and attacking you. It's beautiful to watch.
I think we've had this discussion before on the podcast where we talk about like one of the possibly best skills you'll learn in martial arts period is the break fall. Like I have you
Absolutely.
I've literally I haven't roundhouse I haven't tornado kick anyone in the head in the last year, but I
Not that he's willing to admit.
Right.
but I did break fall walking down to go to jiu-jitsu. I literally was slipped on ice on blacktop and had to break fall on cement.
I tell people all the time, I said, you may never get into a fight. You will almost definitely fall down at some point in your life. Aikido, and I've been in a couple scraps, and I worked as a bouncer. I've had to mix it up a little bit. Still, the falling has saved me more than anything else. I had a motorcycle accident. Came out with just a little bit of a scrape. It was amazing.
Yeah, it literally saved your life.
Absolutely.
So how long do you like to test and move up? How long to move to quote unquote black belt? How long does that take? Are there forms, or is it more just like techniques you have to memorize? Give me like what like testing.
It's
kind of
techniques that you have to memorize. Forms. The only forms we really have are some of the weapons katas. So we use the boken, the wooden samurai sword, and the jo staff. It's like a 54-inch staff. The rest, there'll be a set of techniques. One of the things, so each rank, there's 5 Q ranks in traditional. Some schools have more ranks. It'll go from 5th Q, counts down, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, and then Shodan, your first black belt, and then it starts counting up 2nd degree, 3rd degree, working its way back up. A black belt could take you 6 years. And again, it depends. How
it depends on the school. Depends how often you.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not a quick
Ish.
turnaround.
Yeah.
One of the beautiful things that I like about Aikido, from the technique side, is there's not that many techniques. Let's say maybe there's 26 techniques, give or take. So you have 26 answers, but you can use them with any question. So the art is only limited by the possibility of what's the limit of attacks that you could get. So, all right, I learn a move, but I can do that move against a punch, against a kick, against a side strike, hook punch, uppercut, rear choke, and it goes back to what we were talking about with Hick's Law. If you have a shorter amount of responses, your reaction time is going to be a little bit better. So you already know all the answers, and you're just waiting for somebody to give you the questions.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty advanced concept you touched upon, and you see it in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well too. Like, let's say you love the armbar, you're gonna try to figure out every position and every way that you can enter that armbar, whether that's from the mount, the half guard, back control. You can enter into the armbar. You can enter it from a guard pass, guard retention. The choi bar, and so you might have that one solution. But you find that it can answer many different questions.
For all the guff that I'm given from the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community, which I'm also part of, Aikido gets a bad rap sometimes, and sometimes rightfully deserved, depending on who's doing it. There's a lot of similarity. That there's not that many Jiu-Jitsu techniques. If you put them all down on paper, how many finishes, how many submissions, and there's a lot of overlap. And we are all branches off the same root, so we all are off of the old Aikido Jiu-Jitsu. Um, the Brazilian guys were doing it laying down. The Aikido guys made it soft and spiritual. The Judo guys made it a sport. But we're all started doing the old unarmed art of the samurai, and we all just kind of took it in different directions.
I love one. I love part of one of the cool things about Tiga Tactics is we go to seminars in different places, and you get to see people from different backgrounds come in, and I always think it's very interesting just seeing the way they move and learning about their art, and I think it helps break down some of these tribal barriers we get into where my art's the best, everyone who doesn't do my art's an idiot, and you're like, all right, everyone calm down for a second. And the more I cross train with different arts and different styles, the more I see similarities and things coming up where
I find it interesting. So, the modern standard for testing a martial art has become would it work in the cage? That becomes the testing ground for, and it's a great way to test a lot of things, but not all of the arts are for that. So there's different types of arts. So your jitsus, which are your technical, self-defense. It's meant to be martial techniques. And then there's your dos or your daos. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of life. So Aikido was never meant to be a combat art. The Sensei, the founder of the art, his vision was the highest form of self-defense was to make the world such a good place where no one wants to attack anyone. That was the model. And I thought, wow, what a beautiful
that is cool
thought for a martial art. And you teach, and the Tiga Tactics talks about destroying the intent of the attack, not necessarily destroying the person. Aikido was you want to hurt the person as little as possible. If you kill them or you injure them, they can't grow, they can't learn, they can't become a better person. So you just want to take the energy out, the bad energy out of what's ever bothering them, and you're changing their life. It's almost mission work. You're not breaking their arm, you're making them a happier person.
Yeah, as a seminary student / Christian, when I hear a lot of the Aikido guys talk about the thought process behind it, I find it very appealing.
Oh yeah,
I think it's really cool. And my Aikido experience is very limited. I've literally taken one class with Todd, and I think that was it.
Oh yeah.
So
and like I said, a lot to offer, mobility wise. One of the things that impressed me, I've trained in a lot of different arts and love all the arts. I look at some of the older judo players and they're broken. They've had a tough, broken shoulders, broken knees, spinal stenosis fusions. It's a tough, these guys are tough as nails and they're still doing it, but they're busted up. When I was in Japan, there's guys 80, 90 years old. They still sit on the floor and can touch their toes. They're still taking ukemi. They're still rolling. They're still out there on the mat. They still look healthy. They have great posture. It's a lifetime. It's a lifetime pursuit. It's not just it's not a battle art. You're not training. It has application for fighting. It has application for self-defense, but that's not its primary. That's almost like a secondary benefit of the art.
Well, I disagree, Scott. I think Aikido's great for fighting old age.
That is true. Fighting old age, fighting anger, fighting depression, fighting negative energy in the world, because I think the problem Aikido gets a bit of a bad rap today because a lot of the schools suffer from the we have that complex, the we do that. And they see MMA or they see BJJ and they go, oh, well, we have that. You could use this. And you could use the art to fight, but that's not really it's such a smaller part of the art that you're really missing the point of the art. I was making the analogy before that if you have a lighter and you're using it to open beer bottles, it works as a bottle opener, but you're really missing the primary function of making fire. You could use Aikido techniques in Jiu-Jitsu. You could use it for cage fighting for some of it, but that's not our prime. There's better arts for that. But, also if you're going to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for inner peace and meditation, and again, not saying that some of the schools do have that. You can find it in there, but that's not their primary selling point. It's you pick the right art for what you're looking to get out of it.
So with that said, who You have the school you train at or teach at currently has. I mean, it's like one of the best martial arts schools I've ever seen.
It's so
Boxing,
cool.
Muay Thai,
American Muay Thai. And,
you had Sambo at one
yes,
point.
Yep.
Silat, Aikido,
Some MMA,
Jiu-Jitsu,
absolutely.
MMA. Like, I have contemplated just taking off from work for a
We'd
week
love to have you come
and
by.
just coming down and like literally living at the gym and going
Live
to
in
like
the house. You
5 classes a
I live
day.
10 minutes away. Come stay with me.
So, brand new student walks in. Let's say hypothetically, his whatever his fees go, it's going to go to the school in general. So like, not necessarily go to you specifically,
Right.
or right. Let's just you want to pit that student in the best art. Like, what would we pull someone into Aikido versus telling them to go train with the jiu-jitsu guys versus the boxing guys?
Well, there's a lot of overlap. Every martial art, like I said, is great. Every martial art will give you fitness. Every martial art will give you flexibility. Now you have to do a little deeper dive into what you're looking for and what your personality type is. If you're looking for competitive sports, there's no competition in Aikido. The running joke is two Aikido guys fighting each other. They're just standing there looking at each other because it's defensive. So nobody hits anybody. We just look at it. There's no conflict. So
I love that.
There's an Aikido fight.
So there's never going to be the Aikido World Championships.
There is. We all stand around, look at each other.
We'll organize it.
Exactly. I think we're onto something. So now you have to figure out what you're looking for. If you're looking for self-defense, well, Muay Thai is great for self-defense. Silat's great for self-defense. Aikido's great. They all have application for it. So now you have to go, all right, well, I'm a 5 foot tall woman and I weigh 100 pounds and I'm worried about somebody grabbing me or something like that. Well, maybe Aikido might be better. You might not be generating as much power as a striker if you have a slight frame. Jiu-Jitsu is good, again, because it's a leverage. So you try and pair the right... And if you're not an aggressive person, we tend to get a lot of more harmonious philosophical people. And they like the spirituality of it. They want to not get hurt, but they don't want to hurt anybody. So if there's a way I can be safe, but I don't have to like elbow somebody in the face to do it. And again, you have the option. You can. One of the things I really loved about Aikido was it had a volume control. When I was younger, I got into a fight. Some friends and I got jumped by a bunch of other guys, and I had a Kempo background and a Taekwondo background, and a guy came up and I was going to kick him in the knee. I'm like, I can't break this guy's knee. I'm not really getting hurt. And then somebody else came and did something I couldn't do. I didn't want to use the dangerous stuff, the damaging stuff, but I didn't have anything in between. So I thought I really needed something that, what if the situation's a 3 or a 4? What if I just want someone not to hit me without breaking them? Well, Aikido has that. That's kind of nice that it starts at de-escalation. It continues with getting out of the way, to getting out of the way and letting someone fall down, to getting out of the way and damaging a joint, to getting out of the way, damaging a joint, pinning someone, to more, permanent consequences. But you have an option. It's not all or nothing. There's you can't sort of teep somebody effectively.
Right.
Yeah. It's jiu-jitsu I think has a nice volume control too. So it's kind of like that. So it depends on what someone's looking for, mindset wise. It's great mobility, and we get people who are intimidated. They don't want to necessarily go roll around with a 19-year-old with a face tattoo with UFC aspirations that wants to, they're a little, you get somebody who maybe starts off, they're trying to get into shape, get a little movement, a little mobility. It's a safe art to start with. I think it's a great cross training. The sensitivity of it applies to all the other arts. I think one of the closest things I've seen to Aikido movement is the Muay Thai clinch work. Some of the throws out of the Thai boxing is absolutely Aikido. It's Aikido throws. We always joke around, same stuff, different pajamas. There's only so many good ways to move, but the blending and the circling and the moving and offsetting balance. If you roll with a guy in jiu-jitsu who's just tipping you as soon as you move, they tip you and effortlessly sweeping you. It's Aikido. It's the same thing. That's the stand-up version of that. So it has use and crossover. I think where people get away from it is they get a little too much into the fantasy side. Oh, I'm going to point and knock you down, and you're going to feel it. And, um, I haven't run into anybody that I've seen that can do that. I've seen people who are super sensitive and you barely notice it. And next thing you know, you're tipped over and falling. But they're still they're just very sensitive. So now you watch a video and you watch a guy throw a punch and it looks fake because the guy doesn't really, he touches him a little, but not enough to knock him down. But their timing is so good. It's like a clean judo throw. It's just effortless, or a clean sweep. It's just effortless. So the guys who are good at it make it look kind of fake because they're so sensitive.
Yeah, I agree with the Muay Thai clinch work. When you get somebody, it's a throw, a trip, off balancing, whatever you want to call it. You catch them just right. They'll go spinning just like you see in Aikido, and it's happened to me. The guys at the gym, push pull, and whoosh, they throw me. I throw people as well too. And is it Aikido? Is it basic physics? I mean, we're all
Yeah,
different pajamas. That's all. Well,
absolutely.
at least Muay Thai, different shorts.
Yes, yes. You guys don't have the full pajamas, so it's we understand. But yeah, it's a wonderful art because the founder of Aikido, I think, was maybe 5 feet, 100 pounds, and he was demonstrating with big American Marines in Okinawa, and just could show that a little guy could still toss these big guys around. And the again, part of the reason Aikido gets a bad rap is half the art is learning how to fall. So I learned how to fall so I can be safe. So I can attack you at 100%. I can punch you as hard as I want, as long as I can take the fall. So when you do the move and I go flying through the air, I don't separate my shoulder, I don't break my neck, I don't break my arm. So it looks like I'm giving you the move. You've off balanced me, I'm just landing safely for my own protection. When you watch real Aikido being used in a combat situation, the person just it doesn't look as pretty because the guy just crumbles to the ground if he takes a big throw because they don't know how to take the break falls.
Uh, yeah, and also, you mentioned like sometimes it's criticized by MMA or BJJ guys. I I find my wrist locks that I get in BJJ much more effective because of my understanding of wrist locks that I learned from Aikido.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it just enhanced what I was doing in BJJ. Is it BJJ? Of course not, because BJJ is BJJ, and boxing's boxing and whatever. But if you can learn other arts and try to find ways to apply it in what you're doing, you could have a leg up on people who don't understand that art.
And it's one more arrow in your quiver. Even if
Hmm.
you're doing the sports side, if all you want to get out of Aikido is a couple sneaky little wrist lock things, great. That's in there for you. If you want a deeper dive into it, and you want to learn the meditation and learn the inner peace and harmony, the just the conflict resolution part of it, I think is one of the best skills you come away with. That the even the movements are very symbolic of, if someone's punching you, you have opposing points of view. They're looking at you, you're looking at them, you're having a strong discussion. You pivot, you're now taking their point of view. You now see what they see.
Mm.
You turn back, you offer them your point of view in a gentle manner, and they receive it and they fall down. It's just a beautiful metaphor for how often are you getting in a fist fight if you're a reasonable person.
Mm.
Very seldom. How often do you have a discussion with a loved one that's maybe getting a little heated? How many times do you have a disagreement with your boss or some guy who cuts you off in traffic, or the the conflict resolution, the blending, and the trying to take someone else's perspective, and I think that's worth more than the punches and kicks for sure.
Yeah, I learned Aikido from my father when I was a kid, and exactly, I took a negotiation course, and one of their techniques that they taught was felt, found, feel. And so when you've got somebody there and you're arguing with them, don't automatically go, "Well, you're wrong. This is my point. This is listen to me." You say, you know what? I see where you're coming up from, and I felt the same way too. I felt that this and this and that, and then I found this. I did some research. I talked to this person, or in my own experience, I found this. I found this, and now I feel this. So what you're talking about, you take their motion, you blend with them, you almost look in the same direction with them before you introduce your own viewpoint as well too.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I think having the confidence that you can diffuse a situation, whether it's verbal, whether it becomes physical to pushing, whether it becomes striking, and you're using the same techniques. It's like the Tiga tactics. It's modular. It's just whether I'm doing it with words, whether I'm doing it with body movement, whether I'm doing it with joint entanglements, but it's all the same conceptually. You're doing the same thing.
Right. Uh, and Aikido itself is a pretty deep meaning. Can you share with us what Aikido means?
So I is harmony. Ki is internal energy or life force. Do is path or way. So Aikido is the way of universal harmony. Um, yeah, so even pretty profound, even just in the name of the art, tells you a little bit about what they're trying to accomplish.
Cool. Very cool. Any other things we want our listeners to know about Aikido, or any follow-up questions you have, Conrad?
Nope.
Everybody's welcome to come and try it out. I will say that there are people, like in all arts, that give arts bad names. It's not a bad art. There perhaps maybe some bad instructors or bad practitioners. I don't believe there's any inherently bad martial art. Um, and again, you know what? Even if you're out there pointing at people and they're falling down, you're still getting a workout, falling down and getting up. I'm not sure.
I think that, to me, that's like the worst part. Even jiu-jitsu, like falling and having to like repeat up and down. I find that exhausting. The Army combatives course, we did so much down up, like my knees and stuff, and my body would just be hurting from getting up and getting down all day.
I will tell you one of the bad things, good bad things, if you do Aikido and you get good at the falls, everyone picks you for demos. The judo guys, the jiu-jitsu guys, any of the combatives, because when you throw, you look pretty when you fall through the air, and you don't get hurt, and you don't complain about it, so that you get used a lot for stuff.
And that falling and stuff, there's even tests called SRT, sit rise test. And depending on how fast you can sit down and rise up, or otherwise fall down, rise up, fall down, rise up, depends on how you'll age as well too. So it's a kind of a longevity test that they've studied, and they're still studying right now. But basically, the faster you can go up and down, the healthier you are, and the better you'll age.
Well, I've got too many things on my plate right now, Scott. But
it's always open.
You're selling me more and more on maybe something I add to my list later on in life.
That's always welcome. So please come on by. We'd love to have you down there.
Yeah, another reason not to quit martial arts. It's never ending.
Sometimes you try something a little different. Sometimes the Aikido is therapeutic to help stretch out and bring back some of the mobility that the judo pounds out of you or the jiu-jitsu twists out of you. We can work with that. So.
And I think it's cool, the hakama, once you reach black belt and everything like that. It's a cool uniform.
Martial arts nerd in me does like a little bit of the traditional samurai wear. It's kind of cool. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of wearing crazy outfits, make sure you're following Tiga Tactics on our social media platform. Me, Scott, and Conrad shot something this weekend. I will just say it's going to come out right around the time of the Street Fighter movie release. So make sure you're following our social media.
Cool. Yes.
It was fun to shoot.
Absolutely.
Epic. Epic nerdom.
Any Conrad, what do we have coming up for Tiga Tactics for you, for all your stuff we have coming up, with this coming out in late June?
All right. So if this has come if this has come out early enough, we have myself and Guru Scott will be on the end of June 26th, 27th, 28th at the Surete International Conference in South Carolina. Come and check us out with that. It's a huge conference. Just about every art is represented, and hopefully we'll get Aikido in there. I'm really trying to push that in there. July 18th, 19th, Tiga Tactics will be in San Francisco for our tool set training tour over on the West Coast. And special guest will be our very own Evan here. And so everyone over in San Francisco is looking forward to hanging out with you. And I'm sorry.
August 1st.
August 1st, Dragon Fest. I think they're celebrating an anniversary. I can't remember what anniversary it is this coming up. So they are doing something bigger, hopefully, and it'll be a lot of surprises. There's always surprises, always cool people to meet up with, and you'll be amazed how these what I consider superstars in the martial arts, how approachable they are, how nice they are, stuntman stars. Everyone's just really cool. So you'll have fun there. I'll be dressing up. Evan, Patrick will be there. Guru Scott Sobel will not, unfortunately, but we're trying to get him there one of these days.
20th anniversary of Dragon Fest. I just looked it up.
20th anniversary.
But that weekend, if you can't make that and you're interested in trying some Aikido, Steel Rivers Aikido in Manor, PA will be hosting an Aikido seminar there.
Oh, okay. And just real quick before I forget, Guru Scott, how can they contact you or check out your school?
You can contact American Muay Thai in Towson, Maryland. We have Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Penchak Silat, and Aikido. And we'd love to have you. So come and try out a class and see if it's something that works for you.
Very cool. I've got, let's see, by the time this comes out, hopefully Western Piper Level 3 book will be published. I've got a webinar with Phil Elmore as part of Urban Warlord. So http://urbanwarlord.com. It's the pencil webinar. So it would be some John Wick references and maybe some Jason Bourne references. I think he's a pen, maybe. But some good information there. Check that out. And I will, like I said, I'll be at the in-person seminar. I'll be at Dragon Fest. And I also shot a bunch of content for a book/video thing I have coming out related to Fairburn, World War II combatives, and knife use. So that should be that's a fall time project. So busy as always. We're pushing martial arts forward.
It's also some more Aikido if you're interested. July 10th to the 12th in Aikido of Volusia County down in Florida. More Aikido. And then the first weekend in October will also be our annual Penchak Silat USA gathering featuring the very famous Dr. Bui and Dr. Scott Sobel, less famous, and Guru Daniel Prasatya, super famous. So please, if you can make that also.
We've also have our Tiga Tactics Silat course that's currently ongoing online. Can people just jump in whenever? Give us some details.
Sure, people can jump in whenever, and wherever you start, we have a program for you, and we'll deliver videos to your your student portal every 2 weeks, and give you a program that you can follow. And my goal is to share Penchak Silat Sarak out there and make it, just share this treasure, because if we don't share this treasure, it might be lost. So that's my goal there.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've been participating, and the live classes have been really good too. That's what I've probably enjoyed the most. The individual segments have been helpful, but I enjoyed like the one live segment we did, and we have another. As of this recording, we have another one coming up next week.
October?
I come down in October. Right. I have school. I start school again in September. But I will be in Maryland. Actually, I will be in Maryland at the end of the month, so we might be hanging out somewhere.
Absolutely, please.
Cool.
All right, thank you guys for listening. Bunch of links down below. Sign up, take some Tiga Tactics online courses, come train with us in person, join our CLOT program, and we will see you later.
All right, bye everyone.